can we start understanding what's been happening to Kane's body recently, please?
Yes, his body is going through an upgrade.
And can you explain to us what that means and how is his body going to be experiencing things for the next little while?
The body needs to be synchronized with the frequency of the Earth at the in the final days before the event. So Kane's body is being attuned to the precise resonance of the Earth 2 or 3 days before the event. And so this will allow him to ground the energy better into the Earth, and it will allow the Earth to rise in frequency. What we mean to say is that Kane's body is like a tuning fork. So we are aiming to have the Earth at a specific frequency, and Kane's body is going to be at that frequency before the event. So he is like a reflection of the frequency that will be on Earth, and he's helping the Earth get to that point. But as it is a significant jump up in frequencies, he is experiencing quite extreme ascension symptoms.
And why is he experiencing those extreme ascension symptoms?
Well, Kane has bravely volunteered in his sleep. He agreed to this. And although it's not a mission with any danger, it's just one that does take another added layer of work to his ascension journey. And this was discussed among all three of you. And it was agreed that he would take on the role and you two would support him, you two being you and Andrew. And so it's a very much a team effort. And Kane knows if he is experiencing these symptoms, then he can share them freely and openly, because the information that he's getting now, before he had his brother he could share the information with, but Fergus now has stated quite firmly that it's becoming too intense for him to hear these things, and that's okay because Fergus has a different role. So it's important now Kane can share the experience with people.
Yes, absolutely. And it is pretty extraordinary for Kane to be experiencing these earlier upgrades. And is this to help you guys navigate how the body is functioning and coping with these upgrades, since it's a new process for all?
Yes, it's a new project, and it is in many ways very new. There's a saying, there's nothing new under the sun, which means that all things have happened at some point in the galaxy before, but this phrase is not very applicable here because this is a very, very unique process for us to put Kane through and for us to experience as well. His body right now is a bit like a puzzle that we need to solve in order for that same process to be successfully replicated across the other bodies on Earth. And because this entire ascension of Earth is a novel process, this specific step in the process is novel as well. And we're showing Kane now his body as if it's a bit like a puzzle that needs to be solved. And if it can be solved, which it will be solved, because we have infinite intelligence within us, it will mean energy can flow freely through him. And the genetic sequencing of the crystalline DNA from the carbon-based DNA will be revealed, and this will actually be a huge breakthrough metaphysically for the Palladian race and other races. It's a point of great interest for many ascended beings, and it will also be taken as a schematic for helping other carbon-based life forms ascend in the future, because Earth will not be the last planet, and the human race in 3D will not be the last to experience this for the time that the universe remains, which is infinitely. So it will be a foundational step for our understanding, and hopefully will allow the ascension of other carbon-based life forms to be much easier and a smoother process. So this, along with the upgrades of all other star seeds and human beings now, is going to help our understanding of the ascension process. And this now it's becoming clear to Kane that actually, although we like to say we have it all figured out and everything is happening for a reason and time is not linear, and so all things have worked out already in some ways, there is, from our experience here, for the we are now the Palladians speaking and have been speaking for a while, but we did not introduce ourselves. For our understanding of the ascension, we're learning a lot, and we don't know all the answers at this time. Although we have a very solid plan, we see infinite timelines of everything working out beautifully. It is a process for us as much as it is for all of you on Earth, and supporting you.
Yes, thank you so much for all the help and support that you do give us. It is so valuable and precious, and confirming and supporting for us. So we are very grateful. Thank you. And so Kane volunteered to be the tester of this energy as the crystalline bases of the bodies become more predominant.
Yes. He's not that much further ahead. He is he is a bit like a we'll use the analogy anyway because Kane will understand it, although it will sound uh, scary now, although it's not really. It's a bit like a platoon of soldiers, and one is the point man and goes ahead, slightly ahead, to clear the area of any dangers or any obstacles so that the rest of the team can pass through clearly. And if there are any issues, they will be in less distress than the first soldier because they'll be able to hang back a little bit while they solve it.
Thank you. And so, at a percentage or an estimate, rough estimate, how many other people are you helping with these earlier upgrades to see how it works for them?
It's a small group for now, around 20 people, but it will get bigger.
Fantastic. Thank you. And what are your recommendations for people who are struggling with these ascension symptoms? Is there advice that you would like to give them to move forward?
First, it's important to realize that these symptoms are a blessing, and each tough day that you have is not just a hard day because you're grounding the light and doing this big abstract humanitarian act, because when you're tired or hungry or physically struggling, then you don't really want to hear about, well, it's for this grand purpose that I can't really sense right now. I just want to have a good night's sleep. I just want to be relaxed today. I just want to be able to enjoy my day with my family or whatever. That it's the real thing to focus on is that you're being granted access to the fifth dimension through these upgrades, and your body is increasing in frequency. And because of this, each day that goes by, you get closer and closer to experiencing the fifth dimension because of this. And it will be an incredible experience and a prize um, experience worth waiting for and worth going through this for. And also to realize that you're experiencing one of the most incredible experiences in the universe. You're experiencing evolution in real time in your body, and you feel the differences that come after these upgrades. You feel lighter, you feel more loving, you feel more connected, you feel more tapped in and in your intuition, and it's been spread throughout the spiritual community that your all of your spiritual gifts are growing because of the increasing vibration of the planet, and all the positive things in your life that are occurring spiritually is just the increasing vibration of the planet. And although this is true in some way, all of the benefits you're experiencing spiritually, even the carefree attitude that you have now towards life, and the way you can kind of laugh at all these things, these are all a consequence of those tough days that you have with your upgrades. So it's important to focus on the fact that you're getting huge personal benefit from these things. In terms of advice, we have the standard doctor's note, doctor's advice, if you call it that, on these things are ground, actively ground on the earth, or use visualization to ground the energy, drink incredible amounts of water, and make sure not to be ingesting toxins or things that make your body work too hard to process them, such as meat, and such as big meals at one time. And so this is the basic advice, and this does not change. And we would not like to say anything beyond that, because these things are the pillars to keep your body processed. So if we say anything more, then it just takes away from this standard advice, which everyone has to follow every day, really.
Thank you so much. And so, in terms of our bodies being upgraded into the fifth dimension, this is just the first layers and the levels of the fifth dimension as we start tuning more into our crystalline bodies, and that will be the very early stages until the ascension in December, when we get even more upgrades. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Thank you. And the med beds and having the experiences with the med beds, if there is anything that no longer serves our body, is going to be healed with the med beds, to help us then be upgraded after that more.
Yes, the med beds will play a role in doing the blocking. So it's a bit like trying to start a car. You need a big push at the start. It's trying to push a car along the street when the engine's dead. You need a big push at the start, a big kick at the start to get things rolling. And so the med beds will do this for people who are severely blocked, and who have had bodies that have been unable to receive and process the ascension energy. Some bodies are so blocked up with toxins, and some people who have had blocked and toxic bodies, and who've also had lifestyles where they haven't been able to be exposed to the new energies. For example, living in a city and not being anywhere near nature, these people are very, very isolated from the ascension energies, and so these people need the most help. It's the degree, the variation between some people on this earth in terms of their exposure to energies is really very extreme, and sometimes this will account for when you ask how is it that some people are being so activated and some people are just seem completely un unaffected by this 5D energy coming in. And although these people who you might think seem hopeless, they are actually experiencing good amounts of the energy, but nowhere near as much as others. And partly it's down to life contract, because some people decide to take on more energy. For example, Kane's brother will decide to take on more energy than others, just as a purely selfless act to help the frequency of the planet increase. Some people have contracted to experience less energy before the shift, but there's still an aspect of environment. And if you have someone living in a city completely surrounded by concrete and having no presence in their life for the energy to kind of be processed, and if they're eating a diet that's not conducive to energy flowing and if they're drinking lots of alcohol or consuming substances, basically creates a terrible environment for the energy. And so sometimes even their higher selves will decide it's not ethical or fair for them to receive the energy, because if the energy hit them, it would be a train wreck, an absolute train wreck for their health. It's kind of seeing an energy now. It's a bit like a body, and it's just got lots of, instead of having a nice clean white road, which is what Kane has through his body, a clean white road inside him, a clean white kind of channel inside him for energy to flow through. They have potholes, and they have pipes sticking out, and it's just a complete mess, really. And so if the energy was to go into them, then yeah, they would experience upgrades, and they would experience expanded consciousness. Their DNA would be activated, but it would be a severely detrimental process to them, because they would have all sorts of illnesses and sicknesses. And unlike with Cain or other star seeds that are living a clean life still, they would not recover so quickly, so they would experience the dizziness and tiredness and maybe the negative emotions that are being purged, but it would not go away an hour or two later, and they wouldn't necessarily feel refreshed after. They would feel um, ill for days, weeks, and even this could trigger even worse health conditions in them. So for some, it's just not ethical, and that's why there's a difference in the experience.
Thank you so much for that clarification. I really appreciate that. And in terms of the Schumann resonance, I noticed that there was a gap again yesterday. Do you get a sense of what was happening there?
Well, the gaps can be multiple reasons. Kane is thinking now about the technical difficulties as the answer, and can sometimes be it. But we also sometimes try to confuse the dark forces by jamming the technology and making it unclear, because the Schumann resonance is actually in many ways a map of our battle plan, if you want to call it that, to raise the frequency of the Earth. And the darker forces, although we don't really like to say Cabal now because they are effectively no more, but the darker energies are the remnants of them. We do not like to reveal our strategies to them.
Thank you very much for explaining that to us. I do appreciate that. And has Kane listened to the last two sessions that I have posted on YouTube from different clients?
No.
Okay, do you mind if I have some clarifying questions from those sessions, just as a point of reference, so people know that my clients aren't conversing with each other and sharing what they want to say in these sessions, and that the information you guys give us is valid and correct?
Yeah.
Thank you. What can you tell us about the live webcast on YouTube showing the Three Gorge Dam? There is one that Joe watches with a very nice background sound to it. Is there any information you can share with us about that, please?
The stream is real. Firstly, the stream is real. But the Kane is feeling that he may have given the wrong answer. But the stream is real, and it is being kept in place because the Alliance have tried to ensure that it is still on display.
Okay, thank you. So it is true live feed information.
Some of it is.
And what can you give me a sense of what some is?
So the majority of it is live. Some parts are patched over.
Okay, thank you. And if we follow watching that video, we will be able to potentially see the dam if it starts collapsing.
Yes, if it stays online. It may not be something that the Alliance wants to live stream exactly, but there will be undeniable footage of it, high quality footage of it.
Okay, so if people keep watching that live stream video, live cam of the dam, that one that I've been watching, that is going to keep us up to date if something has happened to it or not.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And in terms of the broadcast, what can you tell me about the emergency alert?
The emergency alert system is ready to go, and all it takes is the push of a button on a computer situated in the White House. And as soon as this goes, then there will be a blocking of social media sites and news channels.
Okay, thank you. And what will the content be about?
This will be more of a schedule, so it will explain the schedule of the broadcasts and what's to come, but the broadcast will be holographic as you understand this, so it will provide official communication to people to keep them calm, but it may not be the detailed source of information.
Thank you. Do you see any more than one emergency alert being given to us?
Multiple phases of alerts, but near the end, people will not need to receive the emergency alerts because they'll be waiting for the next broadcast.
Thank you. And so, is there going to be um, is there going to be the first broadcast that we get given, is that going to be Crimes Against Humanity or something else?
The first broadcast has to flow seamlessly with the disclosure narrative on the Democrat Party. So it will lead into that first. But the bulk of the crimes against humanity, which are more wide scale, will be left for a little bit later.
And in terms of the election, what side will that be on, before or after?
We see a few days before.
And then so a few days before the election, there will be a broadcast. Will that broadcast have the hologram experience then?
Kane is resisting the answer.
Okay, so Kane can relax and enjoy the way it feels to have nothing to worry about. And as the subconscious and higher self come in, and all the beings who want to share the greater information come in and help assist us with this session. Just for clarification, just knowing that people want to hear different clients being asked the same question for consistency. We would given information about how the broadcasts, how the information to enlighten humanity was going to start, and we were given many details, and we wanted to be able to confirm whether this was the path that was going to be taken.
Yes. Please ask the questions you need to ask.
Thank you. When will the hologram appear to people? Is it going to be before or after the election?
It will be after the election. It will be as a way to stop the chaos and fighting that is occurring in the wake of the casting of the ballots.
And why will there be such carnage or chaos after the election?
There will be militant groups who will not accept anything other than a sweeping victory of the Democrats, which is not what will happen. Quite the opposite.
Okay, I see. Thank you very much. And we were told that there was going to be a smaller human broadcast happening prior to the election. And then a bigger broadcast with more information after the election. Is this something that you see occurring?
Yes, this is actually exactly what Kane sees now. That's exactly what was trying to be communicated. And so, yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. And the difference with the first broadcast is that it's human based, so there will be no hologram. But then after the election, to distract people from their bickering, there will be the broadcast showing with holograms, is this when what we call the Great Intimidation will start occurring?
Yeah,
And
there has to be there has to be extremely powerful forces to stop the, you call it bickering, but it's on the verge of a civil war. So to stop this, there has to be multiple forces to break people's conditioning. I hate you because you vote Trump. I think you are a demonic pedophile supporter because you vote Democrat. And there is tension here, although one side are the aggressors. There will be people who are in both camps who are very much in the vibration of violence and duality, even the QAnon supporters. And so there has to be significant forces to break people's conditioning of hatred for each other, and and that's what this will be. Kane is resisting some of the information about QAnon supporters being lower vibration, but the truth is that many of them, although are awakened, do match the vibrational state of many activist groups on the left, and although they want justice for children and they want goodness and honesty and truth, the things they want to do to the perpetrators of all the crimes is not as bad as the crimes itself, but it's reaching down to a low level of hatred and a lack of love, and this is not healing for anyone. So there has to be something to break people out of that.
yes, thank you. And it's sort of to help them awaken. That's very good. Thank you for that. And are you able to tell us, please, the symbolic meaning behind the Q drop, which was the poster of referring to Red October? I don't know if Kane's familiar with that poster.
Red October is a Kane is familiar with it, and there are multiple reasons that was chosen. Because Hunter is the name of the first person who will be arrested, and so the plan is he'll be arrested, and so, or seen to be arrested, and so that's one reason. The second reason is because it's a Hollywood film, and this is kind of a message to darker forces that the predators in Hollywood are now the hunted.
Thank you. And can you tell me about the significance of the Disney clock, which was another Q drop, please?
The Disney clock is a predictor for the timing of the disclosure, and it's also a warning and a representation of disclosure, because time moves on and there's nothing that can stop time moving forward. As time marches forward indefinitely, the light comes to the earth, the truth comes out, and there's nothing that can stop what's coming.
Thank you very much. And in terms of Kane's transition after the broadcast into his lifesaver role, what can you tell him about his upgrade, and also what will he be doing as the lifesaver?
Firstly, he must get ready to let go of the things he has become attached to. He must step into this role with an open mind, and so he he is already feeling this and he's ready, but he needs to lose his identity as a human being on Earth, because he will need to keep awareness, and it will be strong, but keep an awareness of his power to help. And the only way to really embody this is to let his old self go. In terms of preparation, he is doing most of the lifestyle things he should be doing.
Thank you. And can you give him a sense of what he'll be doing during his time as the lifesaver?
Giving out unconditional love and letting people know everything's going to be fine.
Thank you very
And
much.
that there is a plan to all of this, and it's not random. And that by him having such competence, people will feel this.
Thank you. He was wondering about if he had an experience recently where he kind of feels like it was his first contact. He would like to know what that was all about, please.
Yes, the Palladians would like to come in now. Oh, we're so pleased to have had this contact again. And he calls it first contact because that is really what it was working. The veil is thinning, and as his light body is activated, he is quite literally able to exist in a non-physical plane. So although he is still in the 3D matrix, his senses are able to be in another dimension. And this was an interdimensional meeting that we had, in a way. So he was channeling, as he usually does, but there was a very strong physical sense that he was somewhere else. And we are so pleased that he was able to break through to see us in this way, because he very much came to us. It was not a case of he feels that we descended to see him, but it was very much a case of him coming to us, which was a beautiful thing for us to see.
Fantastic. And is there anything else you want him to know about that experience and what he can learn and grow from?
This can become the standard experience for him when he channels if he chooses it. It can be overwhelming though. Our energy is very, very high. And so it takes a very developed light body if it's still in human form to be able to withstand our frequency. So it would be best not to do this too much. But this is what channeling will be like for him now. And it will be similar for Andre and you as well in due time. And it really is. I mean, this is, Kane has said for a long time, I want to break out of the 3D matrix, and that's what his life has been about for the most part. He's always been trying to model his life in a way where he had no limits and was free in many ways, and that's what is happening now. Has just broken out of the matrix. He has returned now to the 3D matrix because that's that's where the work is being done. But yes, he broke out of the matrix for a moment, and although he has had transcendent experiences before with um, psychedelic drugs or with special meditations or practices, this was done sober and without needing to alter state of consciousness. So it's a very big landmark in his milestone in his awakening process. And he feels our presence now with him. We feel his presence with us more than we ever have. And we're so happy to have him back. Of ways it's like he's back home in many ways.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Are you able to give him the experience of going through the event in December, please, to the shift? He would like to understand what he's doing that day and how he will perceive being taken off this planet.
Yes, we can give him that experience. We ask you, would you like to offer some guiding questions?
Sure. So, the day of the event, how is he going to be feeling?
We are showing him now. He will be in a serene state of peace on the day of the event, and there will be a sense of heat coming towards the earth because his intuition is so strong. He sees and feels things before they happen, and there will be a sense of heat, but not just unpleasurable, like a pleasurable feeling, and just an overwhelming sense of energy coming in, but it's not like it's coming from all over the place. It'll feel very much directional, so it'll very much feel like there is a direction it's coming from, and he'll be able to face that direction outside, and he'll be able to tell, I can feel the energies coming right from here. And so, mm, the I can see light blinding light, orange kind of light through the curtains in my window, and it's the auroras are off in the distance. They're faint, they're quite faint. I wish I could see them more strongly, but I suppose they're still, for being in Scotland, is this far south, is remarkable. And you can hear trumpets, horn sounds, vibration sounds off in the distance. Birds flying away, they know something's coming. Oh my god, fuck. Oh, the energy is really. Oh my fucking god, the energy is really. Oh, strong. The energy is really strong. But it feels good, but oh my god, it's undeniable. It's undeniable. Oh, yeah, so. Yeah, the energy is coming up from the earth there, and lots of vibrations, physical vibrations. I think there's earthquakes now. Quakes. Grabbing my mum now. She is. She is a little bit scared, but okay, so she's now having what looks like a sudden awakening. Sudden awakening. Oh, everyone's got their like. She was almost kind of roughing out a little bit, and now she's back. And then Fergus and I are already accustomed to the energy, so we can stay pretty calm now. And it makes sense now that we were thinking it makes sense because this is what we were told if we were here to keep people calm, and well, I suppose that's what we're doing. Feels like things are just time stop. Feels like this has been going forever now. It feels like we've been light, all this golden light. Feels like we've been here forever now. It feels like we've been here forever. Oh, can't really remember what was happening before all this started. We can remember, but we can't. That just doesn't. It feels like there's just been a. Feels like there's been a something. There's like a punctuation mark in time. Time is just going on from one track to a big infinite feeling of time.
Okay, and so moving forward, what does he notice next? And because he's very keen to find out what his role on the new Earth is, and he wanted to jump forward, say, the time frame of the first year into the new Earth. He wanted to explore it.
Oh, I'm very light. I can see light. I am bright white light. I feel fully activated. I feel fully activated right now. And I'm doing Reiki in the air. Everything feels so blissful and almost just almost orgasmic feeling all over the body. Everything just feels so light and pleasurable. The air feels infinite. Just space just feels so infinite. I've got a staff in my hand. A staff with a crystal ball on top. And I don't know what that means. It looks like it has. I think it's just for fun, to have for fun. I can also do magic with it. I'm teaching people. Teaching people. I feel like an elder in a way. I don't feel old in any way, but I feel very much senior. But it's not like a hierarchy thing. It's more just mm, it's more just like look what you can do. See, look at this. Look, you can do this. Watch. You can do it too. Look how cool this is. So much fun. Look at this. Encouraging people, and there's people around me. Everyone's in white. I think there's some kids and some adults, and just teaching them the laws of physics in the new earth. And it takes a while actually to teach these people how everything works. You'd think it might be intuitive, but it's just like a baby. They take they take a long time for their brains to develop, and so that they can interact with the world. And so I think although everyone comes here perfectly awake and cognizant and intelligent, it's like you have to teach the laws of physics because they're so counterintuitive to what we have here in the 3D Earth. So it takes a while for people to get their heads around it. And I can see my house, it's in the middle of the lake. Oh, it's so beautiful, it's so nice.
Fantastic. And is there anything else you want to show Kane about his life on New Earth?
Seeing seeing my partner. Mm, seeing my partner, I feel so much love from her. She's so beautiful.
It's so sweet. And do you get a sense of what she's doing on the New Earth?
Running around and laughing and just having fun, and she knows that I've got stuff to do, So she knows that she is here to just remind me to just take time off and have fun. But it's all fun. She's very much just there to be present and joke and laugh and run around and stuff.
Wonderful. So glad. I'm so glad. And so in terms of the shift off this planet, is it still in 60 days?
Yes, it's got to be 60 days. And Kane now is thinking about information he received last night, and we would like to discuss this now. Kane was told last night that the shift has to be the 21st of December, because if it's not, things are going to be a lot more difficult for the ascension to occur. It will occur, but it's going to be a lot more difficult if it's not on the 21st. So it has to be the 21st. It's just simple as that. And do not listen to people who say, "Oh, we don't know the date of the ascension. We don't know the date of the ascension," because this is not true. We do know the date of the ascension. It's the 21st. That's when it's going to be. Of course, all things are possible and multiple things can happen in between, but it's just completely non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable.
Thank you. And how would you like us to respond to the people who say, how do you know, blah, blah, blah? What's the best way to approach people who are clueless about this epic shift in December?
If they're clueless now, then it means that they are being protected by their higher selves from this very information, because they are the kind of people with personalities, type A personalities, that might find themselves in a lot of fear about the date. And so people who know about the date now, or most of the people who know about the date and resonate with the date and focus on the date, it serves them to have a timeline. But other people, it serves them not to know. So actually, if you find people who say, "We've got no idea," or that it's going to be some other time that just doesn't sound right at all, then just walk away. Be polite, walk away. But yeah, don't push it for them. It's in fact, try and protect them from actually figuring out the truth, because it wouldn't really help.
Thank you. Would they just see all of this information and think it's gobbledygook, woo-woo stuff, and then just walk away themselves because they're protecting themselves from the greater truth and information?
Yes, that would be part of the response, but also the response might be falling into a crisis. I mean, some people here, some people here have careers that they've worked hard for, and relationships that they've worked hard for, and things in their life maybe are just working out, and so they've had their challenges that they were contracted for, and it feels like they feel for them, and we feel so much compassion for them now. But they feel like this is their new earth, because they're at a place in their life where they're happy, and so we say that now because we want to fill you and Kane and Andrew and everyone listening with compassion for these people, because it's hard sometimes. It's very hard sometimes when you're doubted and called and attacked by people, even in the spiritual community. It can be very hard. So we try to fill you with compassion by saying, this is their new earth, the life that they've created now, maybe after years and years of so much suffering. This is their new earth, and they're just scared for it being taken away. They're just in fear. So have some compassion and love for them, and we know you already do, and we understand it's difficult, but this is their new earth, the time in their lives, and so it would be a bit like someone saying to you, the new earth's never going to happen, and so it'd be a very difficult thing to hear, and we'd fight against it. The new earth is here, and we're very close now to the ascension, but that would be what it's like for them because they've found peace in their lives. Some of them, at least. And some of them are just extremely resistant because that's their personality. But yes, that's what we would say. So let them go along their way and know that they will be shielded from the information because they won't resonate with it, and they will all be fine.
Great. Thank you. That is such good advice. It's so hard to write in a little comment section. The earth is dying. We need to be evacuated. We need to evolve. Don't worry. Have no fear. Drop any of the baggage you have emotionally and just surrender into the process. Yeah, I think that could trigger a few people.
Yes, it's basically impossible, isn't it?
Okay, cool. Okay, so that's fine. We'll send them lots of love and promise that we will not trigger them with the truth that they're not ready for. And we will respect them and their processes 100% because it's got purpose. It has
Yeah.
absolute purpose for them. So we can honor that, absolutely.
Yes, this is the perfect attitude to have. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. And in terms of Kane would like to know why did it take so long for Kane and myself and Andre to finally meet?
Well, can you imagine if you had met 5 years ago, for example, or 3 years ago, for example? Kane knows himself that he would not have been, he would simply not have been open to, he would not have been open to the relationship because he had not awakened enough, and he would be in no state to be frank, to have an open and compassionate relationship with you and Andre because he was much, much more in fear. He was more traumatized. His heart had not softened, so he would be egotistical, and he would probably be judgmental and closed off to all these truths because that's just where he was. But now he's a very, very different person now. And so we would say similar things for both you and Andrea as well. We're
Absolutely.
much more. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it is an individual journey to process and grow and learn for ourselves. And then when we've reached quite a awakening within ourselves, then we will viable friends really because yeah I would not have been able to process uh, anything either properly so it was all just perfect timing, right? And we will connect together on the new earth.
Star seeds are coming together now because they can play nice with each other and not traumatize each other as the human population has done to them in their lives. And so everyone can, yes, that's a way of putting it, play nice with each other and appreciate each other fully. And so what you said was correct.
Nice.
But yes, it's yeah. And you will all connect on the new earth, yes, in a very, very profound way. And it will be such a beautiful experience.
what do you give, what sense do you give Kane about Andre's role on the new Earth, and likewise for me, just out of curiosity?
You'll be working as a team and you will have your strengths and expertise, areas of expertise, which will become clear around December. And so you'll be working as a team, running a sort of transitionary course for those coming to the new Earth. And so you'll be responsible for taking care of people as they come in, and and being able to help them acclimatize to the new Earth. We don't mean to make that sound as if it's a hostile environment in any way. We just mean to be able to quickly adjust so that they can be 100% living their lives on the new Earth to the maximum, and you three will be part of that, and you'll be loved and respected very much by many, many, many on the new Earth. Although this will be true for everyone, to everyone on the Earth, you'll have a very special role in people coming to the Earth. And so once they're finished with your teachings and trainings, they will always hold a very special place in their heart for you. And this is part of your bigger missions, your soul's ascension through the higher dimensions, because you're leaving an imprint on so many different souls. You are becoming very much ascended because you experience everyone's experiences in a way. A part of you is with all these other souls, and so it's just like gathering information. And the more information you have, the quicker you ascend, and the more you rise back to being your God state that you all want to reach.
Thank you very much. It seems like we're going to have just a beautiful experience and time together.
Yes, it will be incredible, and every moment you'll think you've won the lottery, because you were approved to go through this. You requested to experience it, and you're approved to experience it, and you're all exceptionally lucky. And time is not linear, so in some ways, every soul will get to experience what you get to experience at some point, but you are just very, 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 very lucky. Very, very lucky.
Thank you so much. That is so exciting to hear that, and so encouraging and inspiring and everything fantastic. So if there is there any final messages that you would like to tell Kane today?
Be straight to the point with how he is feeling with with you and Andrew. That would help.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And he can totally vent to us and share anything he wants to share with us, knowing that we only have open hearts for him. There is no judgment, and we are totally here for him, and we want him to share everything he's going through. And we can carry his emotional load if he needs us to support him through what he's going through. Without him hesitating for a second, because we are here for him and we don't want to overreach onto him, and we can just release any expectations or limitations that we feel like we should behave and just be our genuine selves, completely, without worry that we won't get it. We will totally get it. We all know each other so profoundly. We have to lean on each other, and know that we're not burdening each other with sharing, and we can trust each other to support ourselves, each other, when we're going through things. So we're here to help each other, and we must never feel like we are not deserving of each other, because we are here for each other profoundly.
Yes, this is true. Another way to think about this is that if Kane vents to you or Andre, that in fact it's not just a burden, that it's a gift, because this now opens up opens up an opportunity for you both to support him, which is an opportunity for you to commit to service, which is why you're here. So it's a gift. Venting in a way is a gift. And it also gives you each other a feeling like, okay, I'm feeling I need to vent now, and so I feel I have permission to do that because the other person has supported me, and so it goes round in a circle. And so it's a gift in many ways to even vent to each other.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like I have vented my fair share to Kane. So he is definitely, I'm definitely waiting for him to purge his stuff onto me, because I know that, he has definitely taken a lot of my frustrations. So he is definitely encouraged and supported by me always, 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 always. And I'm not keeping score either. I actually get really upset thinking that he's holding back and going through some crap by himself, because he doesn't have to do anything alone anymore. We are never alone now. We have done our alone time. We've done that, and we don't need to do that anymore. And we mustn't feel alone. And we must always reach out to each other every single time we are feeling that we need that bridge of support.
Yes, yes, that's true, perfectly true. And we would like to see you keep that phrase, our alone. You've done our alone time. This is a very, very powerful way of expressing it, and we approve form of that way of expressing the message, and hope that you can repeat that to any starseed that you want to speak to about this topic.
Yeah, yeah. I feel really passionate about it, because I just know how hard it is to feel alone. And I also know how hard it is to feel like this work and the information I believe so profoundly could be perceived as being crazy and psychotic. So I also know how, we can stand in our truths and be supported and not have that fear of someone thinking that we've gone insane.
That's why you're the tripod.
We will balance each other out. Okay, thank you so much. If there is anything else, is there anything else you would like to say before we go?
Ships are waiting for their review, and the time is close. So prepare your minds and bodies for this site by affirming that you are ready, because you will need to be you'll need to be one to remain calm.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, thank you so much for your consideration of preparing us. We really appreciate all the information. And to clarify with that, video streaming of the dam, what part of it is not true or not real?
Around 1 a.m. to 12 noon, there are periods where the stream is merely repeated.
I see. So is this when they can't monitor it, so they're just keeping it safe?
One aspect, yes.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate that clarification. Okay, so we'll ask their subconscious to recede to where it belongs now with my